Good morning. Okay, yes, I am here today. And oh, Raman, I tried to get you to join. Just as I clicked join, bring you on, you disappeared, saying your devices aren't connected. What's going on? Ah, interesting. Hey, morning, Retro. How you doing today? Oh, well, today is Super Tuesday, and I'm just looking at my Republican. I mean, I've got one thing to vote on today. And of course, that's who do I want for president? And there's about six different. Oh, you're tired? Yeah, Retro, I tell you, buddy. Uh, I was pretty tired last night, so I crawled into bed at 9 o'clock. And I was up at 10, up at midnight, up at 2. And finally, when about 3 o'clock rolled around, and I just laid in bed until 4 and decided to hell with it, it was time. I got up and fed the animals and made them happy because they got fed an hour early today. So I got a feeling that I'm going to take an early crash tonight and maybe actually get some sleep. Ramen is saying you may need to connect your microphone. So you may want to check your mic to see if you're what's going on there. But yeah, oh man, I dropped that paper. Let me go and grab that piece of paper again because there was a couple of names on my uh, pre voting paperwork. That's I don't know about y'all's, but we always get the thing in the mail about a week before election day to show us everything that's going to be on the ballot. So if you got questions, if you need to research something, uh, you got a week to do it before you go vote. So I get mine in. I got looking at it, and I had to laugh because obviously being in the state of Florida, um, it's it. Okay, Ramon's back again. Let's see if I can get her to add. Yay! I got you to add.
Hey, I had to switch devices. My receiver for the wireless is suddenly missing. Can you hear me
Oh,
okay?
yeah, I can hear you fine now. You were a little echoey at
Oh, okay.
first, but you're fine now.
I really need to find it.
But
I literally just got that
uh,
headset. Oh, God damn it.
uh,
Sorry. Bill collectors, it's super early.
ah, yes.
I'm sorry.
But so on our sample ballot for the day, I've got vote for president, vote for one, Ryan L. Binkley. Okay, who? That's a name out of nowhere. Chris Christie. Okay, I'm sorry I couldn't vote for that fat tub of lard. If you, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm fat, so I can get away with calling him fat. I'm just recognizing one of my own. Ron
We're all
DeSantis,
fat here.
Nikki Haley, Asa Hutchinson is still on the ballot, as is Vivek. And then way down at the bottom, because Florida does it alphabetically by the last name, is Donald J. Trump. Ryan Binkley, if you get any votes, it's going to be by accident or somebody throwing away a pisser vote. I'm not voting for none of these people, and I've never heard of this guy. Chris Christie. I mean, everybody's dropped here except Trump. Why? And Nikki, of course. And I don't think, at one time, I really liked Nikki. I liked her. No, at one time, I'm talking 4, 6 years ago. Yeah, Kristi
I ain't saying
Kreme.
nothing.
4, 6 years ago, I liked Nikki. This past year, she has shown me what what she's really like. And she's not a conservative by any stretch of the imagination. She managed to fool me.
Rhino.
But so, but she is a contender. She actually won the most corrupt city in the country's votes the other day. So, you were going to say something, Ramen? Are you trying to say something, Ramen? Because all I'm hearing is thumping. I think your mic is not working there, Ramen. I think you got an issue there. But Super Tuesday, everybody, the Supreme Court ruled that the states can't pull Trump off the ballot. And, you have an individual judge, you have a Democrat sitting there saying, well, this is something that has bugged me from the beginning. Trump has not been convicted of any crimes yet. Civil cases, yes. Criminal cases, no. And those civil cases he was convicted of against E. Jean Carroll, and this nonsensical judge in New York that found him guilty before he ever walked in the door of fraud. Fried oysters. Hey, Duck Dog. I am not an oyster fan. So y'all can have those. Enjoy, and you can't, and it cannot be said I did not try them. I tried them almost every Friday for a year. I had them at least 52 different ways. Did I find some that were more palatable than others? Yes. Did I find some that if I got invited to a dinner and they served them, I would eat them out of politeness and could almost enjoy them? Yeah. I mean, now you can, out of 52 different ways of making something or 50 some odd ways of making something, yeah, you're going to find some way that thing can be made that you can sit down and eat them. Even sweet potatoes and asparagus. I'm sure there's some way somebody could make those things that I could eat them. That was actually one of the ways in a poor boy sandwich that I found that I could eat them and actually almost enjoy them. Was in a poor boy, but there was so much other stuff on there that hid the taste and texture of them. Okay, Ramen, I think I heard you beep there.
Oh, I muted on my headset because I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm not a
Oh,
politics person, so
oh no, no, we're
yeah.
talking we're
But
talking
I'm here,
about
yo.
oyster, Rocky Mountain oyster. Oh, now Rocky Mountain oysters, those are
Ah!
mm,
A totally different animal.
that literally a totally different animal. I have
I've
caught a
never had
few.
either, but
I've caught a few people with them though. Duck dog. I've tried that. My son has actually wrapped them in thick cut bacon and smoked them,
oh my god.
and I they were asparagus was still like eating a chunk of wood. So, but now Brussels sprouts and broccoli and the rest of those.
Prairie oysters? Okay, now I gotta Google this. I'm keeping
I,
safe search
I,
on.
I'm getting ready to listen to Ramen scream.
Oh no, okay. It's the same thing, just a different name, different locality. Okay, I get it. You got me, Doug Doug, I admit it.
So, but anybody who's out there eligible to legally cast a vote today, please do so. Please go out and, so that when you can honestly say you've exercised your rights as an American citizen to vote. And I still say that any state, any county, any city, any municipality that allows a non citizen to vote for any reason whatsoever in any way, shape, and or form, y'all ought to be hung as traitors.
Yep, in
Oh,
Minecraft.
that's okay. Thank you. Yeah. And I even hold my home state of Ohio to that.
Me too.
Uh, that. Hey, Tyre. Good morning to you. You out taking your morning walk again today? Um. So yeah, there's a Tyre. Did you see that Dune 2 $83 million on opening weekend?
Damn.
That is some serious cash. Oh, you're going to wait about an hour to take it. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, they're going to make their money back on that. Um, Now I did hear though that the third movie is up in it's still up in the air. Warner Brothers is saying they may not allow it to be made now, even though he's got the script written and ready to go. So that's going to be interesting because if Warner Brothers, if the people hold that movie up for a while, you may not be able to get some of the characters back. But that'd be a shame, to not be able to get some of the actors back. So, but anyway, um, I'm not going to tell people who to vote for, what to vote for. Go out and vote your conscience. Vote for the person that you think is going to lead the country in the best way. That's something you've got to look at into your own heart. because there's people on all sides who, well, my mommy was this and my daddy was that, and I'm going to vote this way because that's the way my mom and dad votes, and that's the way that this is always been done in my family, or well, this is who the media tells me I need to vote for, so that's who I'm going to vote for, or this is who that pop star or that sports star or my neighbor down the street told me I need to vote for, or my spouse told me this is the one that gets me. My spouse has told me I need to vote for them. Really? My wife and I vote differently quite a few times. We'll sit down, talk about different things. We'll go down through the ballots and we'll talk about them. And we vote differently quite often. She's a lot more tender-hearted than I am. Well, she used to be a lot more tender-hearted. As she's gotten older, I've been a bad influence on her. So, but yeah, we've got to go out, cast your vote today, vote for who you want to see in the final runoff for the president of the United States. Just remember, if your fellow wins, you got what you voted for. All right. The That's something people I get. I made a guy mad at me one day when talking about a certain country having some severe issues right now. And they were saying how sorry they feel for the people. And I said, why? Why do you feel sorry for them? They got the government they voted for. 90% of the population voted for that government or whatever it was. I don't remember the numbers, but the vast majority of the people in that country voted for those people to be their leaders. So they got what they voted for. It's I've got no sympathy for them. Why should I have sympathy for somebody who voted for someone who wanted somebody to be their leader, somebody to represent them, to, however you want to phrase it. And in doing, I mean, that's something that, let's bring it back to the United States. That's something that, Texas is starting to turn purple. Why? Because everybody's leaving. Large numbers of people are leaving California and moving to Texas, but they're voting like they did when they were in California. And now Texas has been starting to turn purple. I once suggested that if you move to a new state, you should be ineligible to vote for anybody in that state for any state issue for 5 years. Just 5 years. You are ineligible to vote for 5 years. But that's, well, yeah, Sean, I see your point there. A compostable straw? Why would you want a compostable straw, duck dog? Wouldn't that thing destroy itself in the usage? But anyway, like I said, I suggested you can't vote for 5 years in any state election, any state issue until you have lived in that state for 5 years. And if you still feel like bringing the garbage from your old state with you, then fine.
I'd be willing to compromise and make it a year, but they have to be employed for a year in that area to prove that they're not, just buying the house, living there a couple weeks for vacation, and going back. That's just me, though.
Well, if it's your, if the, well, they still have to transfer their driver's license and all that other stuff to the new state.
Do you know how many people claim they're living somewhere else, like a friend's house or somebody, just to get their kids in the better school?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not that hard. If you can do it for that, you can do it for a vote.
That's one of again, that's one of the reasons why I believe you should have to use a state issued ID in order to vote.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's stupid. It's your driver's license, your ID. It's not a voter ID. It's just an ID.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
A
true.
Tyre says, that he doesn't like the idea of having to wait 5 years. That's unfair. That's in most parts. That's 2 election cycles.
Yeah, I mean,
That
honestly,
is it's 2 elections. Is what you're missing.
I'm willing to admit 5 years is a little much. I'd let it go a year as long as they, can prove they were physically there. What better way than a job? You know.
Sean can't vote for 10 years.
Oh my! I can't. Y'all are just crazy.
I tell you, Retro, when it comes to straws, I actually bought a set of metal straws. They're 2 different sizes, and I absolutely love having my metal straw, even over plastic. So, uh, and I didn't do it to make anybody happy, the Eco Nuts or anyone else. I simply did it because when I want a straw, I want to be able to reach into the cabinet or into my silverware drawer and pull out a straw.
I hear you.
And got the little brush to clean the inside of it out. And I keep a big one in my truck for on the rare occasions I get a milkshake because
God damn it!
there's places at the McDonald's or any place else you buy a milkshake from, they never give you a big enough straw. So if a
Now I want
vote
a friggin' milkshake.
so if a
Ain't right.
vote about allowing X and X directly affects me, then I'm forced not to have a say. Okay, Tyre, all right. This is why I say 5 years. All right, and at, you get a lot of people fleeing California. Real world example: people are leaving California because of the stupidly high taxes and everything else going on in California. That is so bad that California passed a law, and I do not know how in the hell this has gotten away as being constitutional. That you at a certain, if you got a certain income or something like that, you still have to pay California taxes for years after you
Yeah,
leave the state.
that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
I do not understand how you can be forced to pay income tax to a state you do not live in.
Right?
That's absolutely beyond the pale. And how that has managed to stay in place, I'd love to know. Okay, was it 10 years? I couldn't remember if it was 10 years or 5 years, so that's why I just said years. Yeah, retro. There are days that I can actually support that idea that you actually have to do something in order to have the right to vote. You have to show that you got some skin in the game. Um, a lot of times, I remember in the past, people have said that anybody on welfare shouldn't be able to vote.
Okay, that's bullshit right there.
All right, no, and in a way, I can the point to that being is that they're going to vote for people who are going to offer them more money on their welfare program.
Okay, but you know what?
Uh,
Everybody votes in their own best interests. I mean, you think about it. I
yeah,
have no skin in the game. Florida doesn't have welfare, but I would not deny someone the right to vote because of it. You know, you got a kid on the way, you lose your job, your wife is home because pregnancy complications. You might have to go on for a few months to a year. It's not every. I mean, obviously that's not the majority of people, but I wouldn't want to get punished because some people know how to game the system.
uh, uh, and and like you said, it's human nature to vote for people that are going to do something for you. That's that. You're absolutely right. That is human nature. There's a very, very few people who vote altruistically, saying they're only going to vote for what's good for the country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I vote on. I mean, the again, yeah, the issues I look at to vote. All right, I look at border security. I vote income tax. I look at uh, our constitutionally protected rights as far as the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments.
Okay.
All right, those are my three main issues that I always look at. Anybody who is going to, affect my border security. You got somebody, politician A saying they want to, increase border security by doing this, this, and this. And as long as the issues the ways they're outlining are constitutional, that's a point for them. You got somebody
You're
else
voting
saying,
Trump. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah, well, I, it, I tell you, Trump is scared. Trump, I'm not wondering if Trump hasn't gone off the deep end.
Really?
That all this pressure on him this past 4 years, all the lawsuits and everything else, if it hasn't gotten to him,
I think it would get to anybody.
you know, because could you imagine? I mean, I cannot imagine living under the pressure that he's been under for the past 4 years.
He's always been a little off the wall, though. A little bit of a troll. So it's why I voted for him the other times. Because he was the best fucking Twitter troll ever.
I know. I vote, and I've said this before. The I was a Cruz supporter until Cruz dropped out, and Cruz dropped out before the Florida primary, so I voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, pride and vengeance are powerful motivators, and that's one of the things I'm afraid of is that Trump doesn't know how to throttle back his plans on vengeance if he becomes president.
Well, I don't think he'll go as far as vengeance, but I do think he will be correcting the hell out of a lot of really shitty things that have happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, I imagine that first thing he's going to, his first week or so in office, he's going to re-implement all of his plans he had at border security.
Absolutely. He might open up the pipelines again, and
Yep. And you retro, you name me one politician who isn't full of narcissism. I cannot think of I mean, and even our local guys. I've talked to a lot of them. I've talked to most of our local politicians. Our even some of our as much as I like our sheriff, the guy's full of himself. But but if you're going to run for office, you've got to think you're the best person for that job.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you think you're the absolute best and you're God's gift to that position, then, you're going to, how else to describe you besides a narcissist? It's just some people hide it better than others. Trump doesn't bother to hide it.
I was just gonna say that mofo is straight up awful. He doesn't hide shit.
There is no filter between his brain, his ego, and his mouth.
Biggest amount of deportations of all time. Yeah.
Now, I tell you what, if I would have somebody stand up there and say, one of my objectives when I get in office is to deport every illegal in the country,
Mm-hmm.
I would stand up and cheer.
Well, he literally said it.
You want to send a couple $1 billion to the Ukraine? Fine, let's double that and use that for deporting illegals out of the United States.
Or let's just take it out of the salary of everybody who votes to bring them here or send the money or whatever. Put your money where your mouth is, fool.
You remember the E-Verify one that was always in the news.
Yeah.
That when all employers, whenever they go to hire somebody, had to do an electronic verification that they were eligible to work in the United States. That social security number actually belonged to that individual and not to somebody in another state.
Yeah.
And I fully support because a lot of social security numbers are stolen and people are working under illegal, and it causes problems for the people who actually own that social security number.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of things for me to like about Trump. There really is. There's a lot more for me to like about him than dislike.
Yeah.
Okay. But I can still honestly say there's parts about him that, you know, scare me, that make me worried about how is he going to act once he get the and face it though, anybody he takes vengeance, well, most of the people he would take vengeance against has
Oh, yeah.
earned his hatred, has earned anything they get.
Mm-hmm.
Especially um, pencil neck googly eyes. No shift for brains. There's a lot of people.
Well, on that second one, that could literally be anyone in politics. So we have a lot of stupid politicians. I'm sorry, we do though.
Yeah, your county sheriff's your cousin. There's only a handful of people outside the criminals that actually like him or hate him. Oh, you know, now that's one of the things that I fault Trump with is he did not rein back Fauci. He had the chance to rein back Fauci, and he took Fauci at his word. So, but he gave Fauci a lot more leeway than what he should have gotten. No, again, anybody who sits in that office is going to make mistakes. They're going to do things that I may or may not agree with. I just have to go with whom I think is going to do the best job of representing what I believe, what I'd like to see done. And that's all I can. I hate, as I just hate that there's going to be so many people that disagree with me.
Fuck him.
Again, that's my own bit of narcissism stepping in. Because and anybody that actually says that you can be talked that your core beliefs aren't narcissistic, that what your core beliefs are, you don't believe that that's actually the best for the country, and that anybody who disagrees with you is wrong. Yeah, that's your own bit of ego stepping in. You're absolutely right about that, Retro, and that would have been if they would have done that his first term, they would have been a lot better off. The group that got him to sign the paperwork, put the prison reform. Ramen, what am I talking? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No.
Where I mean, a lot especially the one black. There's a lot of black people that really supported him for that one bill he signed, or an executive order or something that really changed some prison reform or crime reform.
Oh, honey, I don't follow.
Yeah,
that kind of
thing. Well, that, but I mean, people that would normally not support a Republican, or just look what he did with the historical black colleges and universities. He funded them for 5 years or something like that, or 10 years.
Okay.
And stuff. They said, man, this is great. We don't have to come up here every year begging for money. We've got funding coming in for the next few years. We can actually make plans around. Now, I disagree with with colleges getting government funding simply because they're historically black, historically Hispanic, historically female, historically male colleges. All right. They should, no college should be guaranteed funding.
Right.
All right.
I'm down with it.
And they especially shouldn't be guaranteed funding simply because it's a historically black college. I mean, how How else do you, or a better way to foster racism than to say, well, this is an all black college, so we're going to make sure that they've got funding from the government so that they can continue to be an all black college or majority black college. That's just, to me, that's, the government funding racism. I mean, you wouldn't fund a college to keep it majority white, to keep it in
Right.
operation so it could be majority white or majority Indian or majority Scottish or whatever. So, but anyway,
Anyway.
I retro. I'd like to see the government get out funding the students. I don't think the government should be funding college educations. That was, I mean, that was not the government's doing it now because of Obama. I remember that quite well because before that you had Sally Mae, which was a quasi government organization, but it was still, uh, you know, a uh, non-government, partially at least non-governmental. Yeah, Sean, I know, but I disagree with the government. I mean, because look what's just happened. Biden's telling people to that they don't have to pay back their student loans. I saw a meme this morning that made me laugh.
Uh-oh.
You want to tell me that you're smarter than me, than you went to college, but you can't figure out how to make your college degree pay for itself to pay your college loans back? You know,
Hey, I didn't say I majored in accounting. I'm sorry.
Mm. So, I mean, that just brings that point home. You went and got yourself that college degree. Figure out how to make that. You should have figured out how to make that college degree pay for you, pay for it when you got it. So, but Biden's getting all kind. You're absolutely right about that, Tyler. You're absolutely right about that. There's and if you want to, again, you want to know why colleges is so expensive, look at exactly how many mandatory classes they have to take, that gender studies, race studies, nonsense studies that they absolutely have to take. Look at how many people are, staff members at the college, for to ensure that everybody there is, of the right racial, gender, and sexual makeup.
Yes.
That there's nobody getting their fifis hurt. I just, I've picked up out of the 4 doctors I see right now, 3 of them are non-white, and I could not tell you what their heritage is. And but those three all have accents that I struggle sometimes to understand what they're saying.
Marble Mouth.
But they're good doctors. Well, this new one I got, I haven't figured out how good of a doctor he is yet. I mean, uh, he's got to be a good doctor, or else he wouldn't be working where he's working. Because the other doctors there are all amazing doctors. So, um, I'm not going to mention any of my doctors' names because of the simple fact that would that just pulls things a little bit too close. But I've got no clue where any of them are from. I really don't. I haven't seen anything in there. You know, you're probably right about that, Duck Dog. Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't some non, that classes pointing towards directly pointing towards your goals in life for your job aren't needed. I mean, it's like the discussion I had with the young lady about music the other day. She'd never, she didn't know anything about the Mozart or Bach, Beethoven, she had, so should, or literature, she had a very narrow view on literature. And I'm not saying you have to like everything that some of these people, but you should at least have a passing familiarity with who Shakespeare was.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, you should have at least a passing familiarity with some of his, at least understand that some of these plays were written by him. So to round out an education beyond just your technical degree, because
Right.
otherwise everything doesn't. I mean, could you imagine our founding fathers if all they knew was how to? I mean, the farmers, all they knew, all their education was strictly about farming, or they had the or whatever their professions were. They had no idea. They had no education on anything besides that. That we wouldn't have the Constitution with the protections written in that we do. So people in college, in high school, should be taught about a little bit more rounded education. Different types, but there's a difference between that having a well-rounded education and having gender studies being
Oh my
a
God.
an actual degree program, or racial studies being an actual degree program. But
Mm.
Shakespeare, who is that?
Oh my God.
Thanks, Tyre. Yeah, yeah. You tried to trigger me. You tried. I give you credit for
Tyrone.
that. But I got too much respect for you not to think that you don't know who that is. So yeah. So there's when it comes to now if you want to become a car mechanic and that's all you want to do, that's fine. Hey, become a car mechanic. Take your so I wanted to do radio and television broadcasting on the technical end. I wanted on the engineering. So I took my degree was in radio and television broadcasting engineering. I didn't want to be in front of the camera or behind the microphone. And that's strange. What am I doing now? I'm behind a microphone.
Uh,
But, you know, I wanted my initial degree is in broadcasting, in the technical fields of it, not in uh, of course, I had to have journalism classes to get that degree because I had to understand what journalists do. That's what pissed me off so much about today's journalists because the training I
oh my,
got into what it was supposed to be, what a journalist was supposed to have been back in 1978 by men and women who'd been journalists since the 1940s. Uh, that was their what I was taught back in the 70s is not what we got sitting up there in front of us now. These
nowadays
guys,
you just need 500,000 followers on TikTok or Insta.
no, I'm talking about CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, Fox, MSNBC. I'm talking about those guys.
Oh God, they're even worse.
Okay. The outright lies told by these. And I was reading an article this morning by what's this guy's name? Tom Hartman.
Okay.
All right, the most corrupt Supreme Court in the world in the Trump coup. Talking
Mm,
about the uh, Trump decision yesterday.
I guess he
And
wasn't entirely on board with it.
and the opening paragraph. Okay, this is the opening paragraph of his article. At least four members of the most corrupt Supreme Court in American history have decided to help Trump delay his trial for trying to overthrow the government of the United States. Just like in 2000, when five Republicans on the court ignored Al Gore's probable win in Florida to put Bush in the White House, today's court is doing as much as they can to help Trump win this November. And Al Gore's probable, and then later to be found definite win in Florida. It's like Al Gore did not win Florida by any way, shape, and or form.
No, no.
All right, but but you know, uh, Florida law was quite clear that, and those punch ballots. If that hole was, if that bump, if that little Chad was not completely removed, that ballot did not count. You didn't have to sit there and look to see if there was a dimple. Remember the whole dimple Chad controversy?
Oh my
People
God.
with magnifying glasses looking to see if there was a dimple on a Chad on a piece of paper to say, yeah, this is how this person wanted this ballot, this to be their vote. Oh my God, you freaking idiots.
Mhm.
Look at Florida law and go, look at the law. What did the law say that how that ballot had to be looked? I said it then, and 24 years later, I will say it again. It is your responsibility to make sure your ballot complies with the law in order to become a legally cast ballot to count as a vote. You know, they, they construe the ballot with the vote. No, the ballot and a vote are two different things because your ballot has to comply with the law in order to become, in order to be read and registered as a vote.
Right.
Ah, God, how is it I remember these arguments 24 years later?
They were pretty big arguments at a time. You get a pass.
Mm. Yeah, I almost lost a job over that.
Oh my God.
Well, I was spending so much time uh, in the news because at the time, I don't you remember. Oh God, GeoCities. Do you
Okay,
remember?
yeah.
You remember GeoCities? I had a
Yes.
quite. I had a fairly popular uh, thing on GeoCities.
Oh.
Yeah, it was popular enough that MRC offered me a job.
Ooh.
The Media Research Center. But unfortunately, I had to turn it down. But yeah, I could have gone to work for old Brent Bozell.
Wow.
Yep. But the pay just wasn't there considering I had a wife, a kid, a dog, a cat, and a house to pay for.
Oh, old time suburbia.
You know, the paycheck just wasn't there to go to work for Brent. And they wouldn't take me as just a columnist.
Jesus.
So they wanted me to come work for them full time though. It's like, Plus I would have had to move because I don't remember where they're located out, but I would have had to move to go to work wherever their offices are.
Oh, man. Everything
So
is work from home now.
yeah, now everything is. But see that I
When
mean
you don't need
I
it anymore.
we that's I think we were, let's see here. I For some reason I want to say I was still on dial up modem back then.
We all
Were we still on dial up modems 25 years ago?
pretty sure.
Because I know in that house I had to uh run a telephone wire from the modem that was in the living room back to my office. Retro, you're close enough to my age. 25 years ago, was Wi-Fi a thing 25 years ago?
Broadband, maybe? I don't know.
You know, to where, people weren't using dial-up modems. Wi-Fi in 2000. Let's see what they got to say. Because I do not remember what Wi-Fi was like. What I mean for somebody's house
It was
that
pretty
you
crappy.
that you could afford to get in your home. So
I think it was part of the ATT impact, the ATT packages. I'm not sure though.
you think that's about the okay? We were still using dial-up back then. Okay, because I know I was with Wow at the time.
Oh my God, the
The
days of
the ca-
wow.
the the cable company. Oh, I loved
Oh,
them.
I thought. Sorry.
Not the video game. Not the video game. The
I get you. All I associate those initials with though, because I don't know anything else with that.
uh what was that? Wait a minute, or was I still doing? No, I wasn't with AOL back then. So I either had to be. Well, I had to either be with Comcast, Knology, or Wow back then, because that's the only three
And
cable companies we had that supplied internet access. But like I said, think. But anyway, I spent a lot of time on a lot of time staying up late, keeping up on the news. I took election day. I took a election day and the day after off. Scheduled myself off work for those 2 days so that I could pretty much stayed uh, on the computer with the television on next to me, keeping up with things.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. I was tracking
That's
the
dedication, yo.
uh, vote count in the state of Florida live through the Secretary of State's office. Yes, you could do that back then. And when they remember they came out in 2000 and announced Al Gore's the winner for Florida before the Panhandle of Florida had closed an hour before the Panhandle had closed their polls because when it hit 7 o'clock in Central or in Eastern time, uh, all the broadcast networks declared Florida for Gore, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden they
man.
then they all of a sudden like, oops, wait a minute, we still got parts of Florida that's still voting for another hour. We can't declare this for Gore yet because the polls haven't closed. And that was a thing too because they supposedly people said they went home, got out of line and went home. You know, I'm sorry, but I didn't. It's like when Clinton was elected. Uh, I I stood in line for an hour past the polls closed to vote. That's how long the lines were. It took almost an hour. I got home from voting that night, and my wife brought me in. She'd already eaten dinner and had a plate being kept warm for me. And I walked in, and she handed me my plate. I turned on the TV, and the first words I heard, President Bill Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton. And
Yeah.
I just about gagged because I voted and came straight home. It was a 5-minute drive.
Wow.
I was like, ah, that was, man. Now I'm really going back
Oh yeah.
and now I definitely sound like an old man because I'm talking about elections decades ago.
Yeah. It's old man stuff.
But the thing about it is, um, if people don't remember what's happened in the past, but let's see here. Charles Barkley evidently threw a gasket
Why?
about people about blacks wearing Trump shirts.
Oh my god.
Okay. And let me see if I can find that story again because as usual, I close the tab without thinking. Barkley Trump shirts. Let's see what that brings up. Here we go. And let me share this. Charles Barkley says he'll punch any black person wearing a Donald Trump mugshot shirt.
Well, that's a good way to go straight to fucking jail.
Yeah.
Well,
It's no secret Charles Barkley isn't a fan of Donald Trump or his supporters. He's been extremely outspoken about all that before the former was elected president. On his CNN show with Gayle King earlier this week, Barkley had more to say in response to Trump saying the black population is walking around with shirts showing Trump's mugshot. When King asked how Barkley felt about that, the Hall of Famer took a deep breath and responded, "First of all, I'm just going to say this. If I see a black person walk around with a Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face."
Wow.
King replied, "You really can't say that because you don't mean it."
Oh my
So, yeah. So, do I think Barkley would actually punch somebody for wearing a T-shirt?
No.
I don't know. Barkley was a pretty uh, short-tempered individual.
I don't know,
So
man.
I would not be surprised to see that happen.
Again, nothing surprises me anymore.
I don't. Okay. Let's see here. Ty says his is in the dryer. I didn't. Yeah, that's easy money. Black people buy him and make sure you walk around Barkley. Find out where he's at
Uh
and hope he punches you.
huh.
Maybe you can get $83 million out of him.
That would be my retirement fund right there.
The wife asked me what I would do. She's thinking about buying. I guess the interstate lottery or something is pretty big right now, and she asked me what I would do if she hit the lottery. I said the first thing I'd do is make sure you couldn't divorce me.
Ah! Okay, that was good. Damn, that's funny and scary at the same time. Because there's ways you can stop somebody from divorcing you, and then there's ways. Damn.
So that she just sort of looked at me and gave me that, huh? Where did that come from? Well, you asked me what the first thing I would do if you won the lottery. Make sure you couldn't divorce me.
That's just straight up cold.
Now, we laughed so hard about it that the conversation sort of died there. But of course, now you're making me think: how would I stop her from divorcing me if she really wanted to?
There's only one final solution.
No, we don't talk about that.
I'm not saying talk about it, but
We don't even Minecraft about it. Oh my! I want to play 7 days after the wife left for work this morning,
uh-huh.
and my gaming pad keypad wouldn't work. So it's like it didn't.
No.
So I'm
Can
hoping
you
it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just hoping I didn't. It didn't get broken
I
because
was
I
just
don't.
thinking, could you remap the keys to your regular keyboard?
Well, see, I don't like playing games using my regular keyboard
I know.
because yeah, they're coming out with well, V20, was it 22 is out now, stable version, and
I don't even know.
they're working on 23.
This game will never be finished. There will never be a day that they say, "Oh, we're done, folks." I believe it'll always be a work in progress.
Oh yeah, yeah. It will never be beyond what it is right now. I'm as far as it'll always be um, a beta.
Uh-huh.
It's always going to be in beta mode. Okay, what we got here? What's this funny thing that Retro's throwing at us? Any? Oh yeah, I remember reading about this. This will make you wince there, Ramen.
Oh God, how bad is it?
Woman's wedgie was so bad she ended up in the hospital with sepsis.
How long was she wearing those clothes without changing them?
No, she let's see here. Woman's date outfit turned disaster when she ended up getting rushed to the hospital after developing infections, cellulitis, sepsis caused by jean shorts giving her a wedgie. She went on a full day date with a guy and soon realized she was wearing very uncomfortable clothes. And the next day she felt very sore due to all the chafing and feeling ill. Then she knows she had a big bump, and it got bigger and bigger and more painful. Getting there, checked by a doctor a few days later, she was rushed to the emergency room by her mom, where she discovered her swelling and pain was caused by cellulitis, a bacterial skin infection that can become deadly if left untreated. Then that cellulitis developed into septic shock. I was trying to think. I thought this was when I first saw the headline of that article. It was the woman that I started thinking about the woman that went down the slide in her bikini,
Huh?
and she was wearing a G-string type bikini or something, and ended up with the
Oh my God, that's
water
insane.
forced up her up various body orifices south of the border, and ended up in the hospital because of it. So yeah, that's a thing too. Then she tried to sue over it, saying
And
that
who
they
was she
shouldn't have,
suing?
saying that they shouldn't have allowed her to go down the slide wearing that outfit.
How would they know?
You know, so well, Sean, anymore, you don't know, uh, you don't know if that's what their bumps are. Some women ain't women.
Oh my God, it just gets worse and worse. I hate that it's become that you actually
Yeah,
don't know what.
Tyler, if you like killing zombies and building things, yep, you need to play 7 Days.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I haven't played it in like a year, I think.
I haven't played it in a couple of months, so that's why I decided I'd start to play it again today, because
Okay.
I had been playing a certain dragon game.
I don't know that
Ha-
Dungeons and Dragons.
no, no, a certain dragon game that uh, you've got like 3 seconds to decide which decision you're going to make. and you end up dying a lot.
I don't know. Um,
Oh,
I don't.
come on.
I don't play
It's,
3 seconds to decide.
it's a Steam
Yeah.
game.
Well, yeah, that's all I have is Steam.
Yeah. Dragon's Lair.
Oh, okay. You know what? I never actually played it since it was in the arcade.
Ah,
I got it
okay.
for my kids.
Yeah, I've been playing played a lot of Dragon's Lair here the past couple of months.
Those were a lot of fun.
That, and I'm halfway through Baldur's Gate 2. I still haven't
Ooh.
gotten. I haven't finished up Baldur's Gate 2 to get into Baldur's Gate 3. So uh,
Yeah.
I yes, I know that I can't take my characters from Baldur's Gate 2 to Baldur's Gate 3, but I still want to play it before I
Yeah.
do. Before I want to complete it before I do play 3. All right, okay, here we go. Um, Dragon Tax Simulator. I've never heard of that one.
Uh,
But there are so many games out there that oh I never got into Warhammer, and at this point I think it's way too late for me to even consider getting into it.
okay, I've never played any like tabletop RPGs with Warhammer, but some of the Steam games are pretty pretty decent and they are pretty to look at. But I haven't played those in a while. I've been sticking with City of Heroes and which is entirely free.
Well, see, I know nothing about the lore of the game. I know nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, mm,
Well, see, if
I
you know what, it's if you're getting like the Space Marine one where you're on the ship or like other games, you don't really need to know the lore. You're just going bam, bam, bam through the game killing stuff. So you know. But yeah, some of those co-op games and whatever, they are really beautiful.
oh yeah, they definitely spend some time and money on those games. So, but yeah, it's a lot more time and money than. But people spend. Have you seen what it costs to have built a good gaming computer anymore?
Okay, here's where we're gonna have a slight disagreement.
What's
Mine was
that?
about five. Okay, I mine obviously isn't top of the line. I've had it for a couple of years. I
Right.
just wanted something I could play Fallout 76 on and not freeze up. So I got it for initially Worlds bought me one, but it caught fire. So I had to go buy it again. And all I did was get more RAM and change the video card and get some external drives. And total, it was between the external drives and the RAM and the video card, it was probably about 500.
Uh,
Actually, less than 500 because the base computer was 250. So,
I was looking at possibly getting a desktop model.
Okay, if you do that, I'm gonna hook you up with Ralts because he can find you. He can tell you what's really good on Amazon, and it'll probably be like 200 and just do what I did, replace a couple of parts.
Well, the guy that friend of mine that I hadn't seen in 20 years that's still in the business of building computers,
Oh, you have a guy. Okay.
right? Him and I we were just BSing the other day.
Okay. Yeah.
And told him, I said, yeah, I do all my stuff on laptop because I don't own a desktop anymore. And even though the wife is trying to talk me into converting a part of a room into a office area with a computer, desktop computer. And I'm sitting there looking at, yeah, you're right. Motherboards, if you are building a gaming computer or a computer that can handle graphics because you want to do video editing, you're going to spend $5,000.
Whoa, that is
I know it's that,
that's
and
bullshit.
that's absolutely ridiculous.
That's like somebody's getting a commission. That's crazy.
So, you know, uh, but see, and a lot of this stuff now runs so hot, they have to have liquid coolant in them. And I'm just sitting there going, you've got to
You
be
gotta be kidding.
nuts.
Yeah,
You,
I've never paid more than $500 for a computer, and when I got them, they were fucking amazing. So
well, this laptop I'm using now, when I bought it 4 years ago, I paid $1,300 for it.
yeah,
Now,
laptops are usually pricier. I'm
I've
sorry.
I've now put another $200 into it, and that's all the money I put into it, and it's 4 years old.
Yep.
And I will probably get another 2 to 3 years out of it before I consider doing anything with it.
Hmm.
So, um, the only thing I've gotten used to retro because I've got a cheap $200 uh, laptop that I use that if I've got to lug around from the house out, out to basically any place else. If I got to go to my son's house and he wants me bringing my laptop out, I take this $200 one out with me and $250 one. I bought it at Best Buy. It was brand new. It was just one that they had on sale. It may have even been an open box one. So, but it does 99 per, yeah. I wouldn't try to play a game on it again. Anything beyond say solitaire.
Oh my god.
And even solitaire, it struggled a little bit.
Damn.
But I I have learned though I've gotten dependent on having a lit up keyboard. All because that laptop does not have a backlit keyboard, and some of the keys aren't where you think they should be. So I'll go to look for delete something, and I gotta pick the keyboard up and shine a light on it to see where the delete button is,
Oh
or
my
the
god.
backspace button. So yeah, I have gotten too used to having backlit keyboards. I don't need the pretty lights. I just need a backlit keyboard. But I have seen some beautiful computers build up though. Absolutely gorgeous ones. Okay. What's See, this is why I always come in here with about a dozen tabs opened up because I never know how we're going to the day is going to go. What set of tracks this train is going to take today.
Ah,
Let's see here. what's this story about? Okay, I'm screwed up and changed the tab. So uh, okay, this is how old I am. I actually know how to use these.
Okay. What is it? Let's see. A punch card.
Yes,
I've never used one either.
I use those. I
Oh,
had to use those as part of my job. So part of my job in the Air Force was using those things.
wow.
Oh, Keith Olbermann, you are such an asshole.
What did
What?
he do now?
Okay, Keith Olbermann. Oh, this is him on X. No, come on. The Supreme Court has betrayed democracy. Its
Oh,
members, including
bullshit.
Jackson, Keegan, and Sotomayor, have proved themselves inept at reading comprehension. And collectively, the court has shown itself to be corrupt and illegitimate. It must be dissolved. Then this guy, Gunther Eagleman, replies to him, cry more, 9-0.
Ah,
Oberman's response, those aren't tears, fascists. They're urine. I hope you enjoy being bathed in it. Wow.
the fuck. That's somebody that has issues.
Yeah. Oberman has really gone off the deep end.
Oh yeah.
He has gone so far off the deep end that it's
Oh my god.
I was man wait a minute, she weren't okay, this guy is a jerk.
What?
Okay. And even I will say he's a jerk and deserves whatever he gets. I just okay. All right, this is motorcycle race. This guy won it.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no.
What would possess somebody to do that?
He's a dumbass. How could he possibly think that would go over well on the socials?
Anywhere.
He had to know
would
he was going to get crucified.
He is going to get crucified over that.
Oh no, it's retarded.
Oh, Retro, that's your computer? Oh my God. That is gorgeous. If you want pretty lights, yeah, you're right. You did buy something with pretty lights. Retro, do you mind if I show that? Retro, do you mind if I share that out?
Right.
I won't wait for him to answer.
Ah!
Okay. Let me open. Well, I got to share the screen. This is one thing I don't like about X. didn't like about Twitter and don't like it about X. If you want to share something, you have to share it small first. Come on. Why isn't it going full screen for me again? Now because I'm sharing the screen. That's going to keep it from sharing. Well, hell. I don't know. Y'all can see all the pretty lights
Oh
down
my
here in the
god,
corner.
that's fucking ridiculous.
I'm screwed up and changed the tab, so all of his pretty lights. So I don't need all them pretty lights. I have to admit though, they are pretty. They make it more interesting. Okay. And there's a guy on an Englishman that he made a uh, he built his computer into the wall of
Oh
his
my god,
house.
why? Why would you even do that?
Okay. And he made the table to where it would flip up. Okay. Well, see that way. Well, the reason why he did it that way is to save space. He was, and he was in
Yeah.
like that way he could save space. He didn't have to have as a tabletop style computer. But being as he built it into the wall, he didn't have to have that big old desktop sitting there, but he had all the room for everything. He could put in the ventilation. He could mount his screens up on the wall. His table was like a Murphy bed to where it collapsed down flat against the wall when he didn't need it.
Yeah.
And his keyboard was built into the table.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it was an amazing setup. And when he got done with it, it's like, hey, that's neat. Because everything, when he wasn't on needing his computer, everything was out of the way. And when he could turn on his computer, set up the table, and by the time he got the table set up, the computer was booted, and he could sit down and do everything he wanted to do on his computer, and then when he was done, put it away, and he had all that room available to him again. Yeah, I can see that, Retro. There's no end to it once you start putting the add-ons onto your computer.
Oh yeah.
See, I remember though, who was that maybe you can remember this, Retro. There was a company one time that if you went in and you bought their top end computer, for the next couple of years, they always guaranteed that you had if a new um, video card come out, they would upgrade you for free to the new video card.
Damn.
Now this wasn't like a lifetime thing. It was it was for, up to, I think it was like 4 years or 5 years, or until it wouldn't work into your motherboard. If it was something that your motherboard just wouldn't handle, then it's like, sorry, we're not giving you a new motherboard. But I mean, that was still like a $2,000 desktop computer back then.
Yeah.
But guaranteed upgrades. So
damn.
Not too many people took advantage of that.
I'm actually surprised.
Well, think about how many people, even 20 years ago, how many people had $2,000 to lay down for a computer?
Oh my God, 2000 was a whole crazy amount of money for a computer back then.
So
Damn.
yeah, basically what you're doing is paying for your upgrades in advance.
Yeah.
They just made it sound like they were, you were getting a great deal, and all you were really doing is paying for your upgrades in advance. I just found, I think I figured out what's wrong with my, I think I got a cable issue
Oh.
with my Razer TARDIS. I just bumped the USB cable plug-in,
Okay.
and when I did, the thing shut off, then turned back on again, and all I did is bump the cable.
Yeah, that happens. I'll bump like just the side of the tower when I'm walking past with the vacuum, and all of my external drives will disconnect and reconnect. I wasn't even touching the wires, just bumped it passing by.
Uh, the, the wife asked me what I was going to do today, and I said, "Well, I got to take a look at our, when she left for work." And I said, "Well, I've got to take a look and possibly tear apart the ice maker in our refrigerator
Oh,
because it was making noises. You could hear that it was trying to dump ice, but nothing was happening."
yeah. I don't know how that
And I hate hearing those kinds of noises from refrigerators or hate hearing strange noises from equipment, from appliances.
Oh yeah.
And I got in there and I just and started playing with it, and all of a sudden it dumped a bunch of ice, and it's been working fine since. So
Okay.
sometimes you just got to go in and jiggle things, and they start to work.
That is true. It is known.
So, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this for the day because the only tabs I still have open are things that just make me mad, and I don't want to end the stream mad
Nobody wants that. It's been
because
so quiet.
I mean, Keith Olbermann's idiocy and that guy dumping the spurting the champagne up that woman's dress.
Oh my God.
I just hope that he gets what what he deserves,
Absolutely.
because nobody deserves that.
No.
Okay, and did somebody? I'm looking at Twitter here as I go down to see what it, and there's some ugly ass animal. Our cat. I am about ready to take our cat and toss him. I really do. I really want to toss him.
What did
He's
he do?
he's figured out how to open up the doors to the house and get out.
Your cat?
Yes.
He's so smart. Now you got to get child-proof doorknob covers.
I've got. It looks like I got to go back to round doorknobs.
You know. Oh, you have the lever bar thing. Or?
Yes. Yeah. Because when you got your hands are full, I mean, I fell in love with them when I was in Germany because you had your hands full. You could just push down on the lever and your door would open. You could open your door, right? Which, when we come back to the land of the round doorknobs, is like I brought a set with me from Germany, and now the cat has figured out how to do it. So we've got to lock the door. Okay. Here we go. Here's a parting shot. people are wondering why she's wondering why people don't take her serious.
Is there... Fuck.
Could you take somebody in front of you serious wearing that outfit?
I couldn't look at them. I'd want to throw up. Seriously. I can't help but wonder if there's some kind of like insert or something to make it all puffy and defined, like she's trying to develop testicles or what. Because that's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's yeah. Now that I've left y'all with that bit of a
You
horror
are the worst.
in your mind, y'all go ahead and have a good day. Enjoy yourselves.
Wow.
Try to stay out of trouble, and if you can't stay out of trouble, have as much fun getting out of it as you did getting into it. All right.
I can't.
Any words of wisdom there, Ramen, my dear?
Yeah, stay off Twitter for a while because this shit is floating around. Not unless you're on a diet and want to puke up everything you've ever eaten.
All right.
God damn it. I was hungry till just now, too.
Okay. If I stream tomorrow, because remember I work third shift tonight. It's my one night a week I'm allowed to work. So if I work tonight, if I stream tomorrow, I'll either be a tired stream when I get home from work or something like that. All right. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy.
Bye, y'all.